What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaron.
And I'm Aaron.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Cryptocosm, the show where I bring you the astrological forecast.
And I bring you your daily crypto news.
And we have got a lot of news going on this week on both ends of the spectrum, as above, so below, they say. Now, we left off earlier this week talking about that this is a huge astrological week about following your passion, following your dreams, following your heart, knowing that you have the royal flush in your hand, and it's a one-on-one game right now, and your only other opponent is fear. All right, and fear is getting in your way. He's pushing his cards he's pushing in all the chips, and he's calling you out basically. And this is a time. We're gonna make big moves. Has anyone ever watched Bob Ross? I used to love watching Bob
Absolutely.
Ross. You know, he's got this awesome little voice. All right, we're gonna paint a little happy bush right there, right? So Bob Ross he'd always start by painting the dream, this dreamy sky, right? And then he would bring in the foundation of the grass and the yard that we're gonna create and play in. All right, so after he got done with the dreams and the foundation of his painting, he'd always say the same thing almost every single episode, and I've probably watched every one of them multiple times. He'd say, all right, now it's time to make the big decisions. It's time to make the hard decisions. We're gonna figure out where we're gonna paint this forest, where we're gonna paint the trees, where we're gonna paint the cabin, where is this big mountain gonna go? You know, it's like we've done this other stuff, but now we're really getting into painting the picture.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where we're at in this world, in the crypto market, and life in general. We're making these big decisions and we're moving forward with something.
You know, and that's really shown in a lot of the initial coin offerings that are being introduced now. I mean, we've gone from 1,500 coins now this year, and we have probably standing in line right behind it over 3,500 new blockchain companies that are coming out.
And some are going to come, and some are going to fall by the wayside.
Right. The big fish are going to eat the smaller fish, and we're going to see a lot of things happen in the next year.
So speaking of the big fish, you know, we need to make, the 4 strong legs to this table to stand up. If one of these legs is weak, the foundation of what we just created is going to crumble, and we're going to need to start fresh with a new table. So what are some of these coins that, we talked a lot about structure last week or this past week, and what is going to make it through the test of time?
Absolutely, and I think what's evolved out of that is what we see and what everybody's mostly familiar with, that's even started to hear about these cryptocurrencies, is the Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be your Bitcoin Cash, your Litecoin, and Ethereum. Yeah. That's right. And over the last year, we've seen some amazing growth, and everybody knows all about the number one coin, Bitcoin. I mean, we've seen some just huge strides going from 10,000 to 20,000 in just almost 6 short weeks. It's doubled.
Insane.
So it went from January to November, we saw a $1,000 to $10,000 increase, and then the next 6 weeks, it hit CNN, it hit the world, it basically called to the world and told everybody, hey, Bitcoin is here to stay.
Right.
And that really just kind of made everybody look up and saw this giant rocket going to the moon, and everybody started hopping on. Mm-hmm. But like all good things that go up, definitely we see these retracement patterns that come down, so that we've seen it go from 20,000 to about 13,000, maybe a little under, and now it's really starting to kind of find its way in the middle of that 13,000, 20,000, and to realize its true value.
Right.
So it's definitely been an interesting run, but we talked about last week, we talked about having this strong hand, and we definitely wanted to give some of the things that we think have some really good foundation in this next year moving forward.
Absolutely. And I mean, we just saw all the CEOs and all the big wigs pull out of Bitcoin.
That's right.
That struck fear in me and probably a lot of us out there. What does that mean?
Well, a lot of things. One of the main things, Bitcoin was number one. It was the first. It's the Armani. It's the Gucci. It's the one that everybody knows.
It's the AOL.
It was number one.
Internet,
that's right. And what we're seeing is, if you want to call it a bubble, that's fine. But the first one that was standing in the front of the line is now kind of the slower one in the race. I mean, the technology is getting a little bit outdated. There's some things that they could do to this network to make it faster and keep up with some of the other ones.
It's slow.
But we're starting to see all these other team players now start getting a little bit ahead of the original gangster. And that's how we see these forks like Bitcoin Cash, like Litecoin. All these were original stems from the number one.
Right.
So Bitcoin is really been the gold standard.
So we can almost look at Bitcoin like we look at, like I said, we just said AOL a moment ago. Everybody had IM back in the day. It didn't matter if you had, the free AOL CD or a Juno account for, your free internet that you had back in the day. But, IM was like, it was the thing. And then we had, transition. We had, for those who remember, Live Journal and Dead Journal. Then we had, MySpace. And then now it's like Facebook and Instagram are kind of the king. So it's just like, well, what started it isn't not necessarily what kept its, the ground off of the long run, right?
That's right. And there's been a lot of controversy around, is cryptocurrency a bubble? Is it going to pop? Is it going to explode? Well, of course, just like anything that comes out. I mean, we see these big players that start it all, and then everybody sees what they're doing, and they're like, you know what? I could do that better. And that's really what we're going to start to see here. So we wanted to give a good foundation of some of these coins that are coming out on these platforms that have a really strong foundation that we hope to see grow in the coming months of 2018.
So do we feel that Bitcoin Cash is a more solid player at this point than Bitcoin itself?
Well, that's a really good question. And if you see the Twitter feeds and the feud that's going on between the Bitcoin core team, the original Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash, first of all, Bitcoin Cash is now 8 times faster. That's the biggest thing. The blockchain.
That's huge. If anyone has transferred or done any exchanges with Bitcoin, it is brutally slow.
Absolutely.
And the first time I made a transaction, trading Bitcoin, I sat there watching my monitor, like twiddling my thumbs, thinking, when am I going to get this email? Did I just send this to, the ether? Did I just send my money to space, Marvin the Martian sitting there cashing checks? Like,
that's right.
So that speed is going to be huge.
Absolutely. And depending on the load of the system, I mean, you could wait anywhere from 4 to 15 hours at this point in time.
And it's like in this volatile market, when you see 15 hours, when you're like, oh man, it's just like when the light bulb kicks on and you want to act, you want to make those moves, and you're thinking, I have to wait 15 hours before I can actually put this into this. In 15 hours, a coin can double. And at that point, you're behind the 8 ball and not where you wanted to be.
Or half. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just the decisions that people make are almost instantaneous. The rise and the fall of this volatile market are just insane, is what we've been seeing lately. I mean, and it's getting more volatile as more money gets being dumped in. Just like we said on the last episode, we saw $120 million off the total market cap disappear in 24 hours.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
That is huge. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be going right back in.
That's right. And it's already
days.
started to. About half of it has already re-entered the market back once again. And I think we're going to continue to see that trend fluctuate here a little bit, but yet still continue on an upward trend.
And as we've seen Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash fluctuating and kind of evening out after they've risen. Now we're seeing what? We're seeing Ethereum going up in the past month over from 500 and now we're over 1,000, maybe 1,200 at this exact moment.
Yeah, I think we peaked over just 1,300 not too long ago, maybe just a few hours ago. It's been fantastic. They've had a really good run.
And now that's a coin it's a token. It's not a coin, right? It's a completely different setup.
It's a whole platform. So it offers a platform. It has its own actual programming language. And this is definitely something we'll get into more detailed later as we kind of categorize some of these coins and give you guys some more information to make some better informed decisions. But it's a whole platform, and anybody, you or I, could even come up with our own cryptocurrency and start building it in the Ethereum language and using the Ethereum's blockchain to host our cryptocurrency. So we get these different side chains, and they allow smart contracts to happen to make these transactions, binding, and that's really what the technology is all about. So, we're going to see more and more key players continue to build on this platform and multiple other platforms that are out there. I mean, Ethereum is just one of the pennies in the jar.
That's right. So that's 3 of these big ones that we see. Now, what about Litecoin? We just recently had, just as Bitcoin did, we had seen the CEO just pull out everything he had from Litecoin. And I think it created a little bit of a stir here. Is that an unstable coin, or do we have 4 solid legs to stand on?
Well, you know what? There's 2 sides to every coin. I love it. And the first of which...
That's your two-face, right? Then it's the same and you're just a dick.
That's right. All right. So... Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, was
Yeah.
getting a lot of flack from. I mean, he's very active on social media, and he has a very, very large presence. There's a very large audience watching him, and a lot of times people would notice that if he comes on Twitter or sends out a new movie and talks about his baby Litecoin, which he's very, very actively involved with and believes in very, very much, I believe.
It spikes up.
That's right. The price follows. I
Yeah.
mean, the audience has become so large that more money gets pumped in. If we hear something about Litecoin's going to be $1,500 by summer,
Bye.
well, that's definitely something to get excited about. So you can definitely tell by the way that the social media plays in this market of pure speculation
Right.
that, I mean, the more active you are in the community, the better reactions that you're going to get from the audience. So there was a lot of controversy built around that, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Charlie Lee, you're just a pump and dumper." You know, we don't like that.
Right.
So he cared so much about his product in his previous tweets that he said, "You know what? I believe in this so much, I'm going to give it all away."
That's kind of cool.
Well,
yeah.
not give it all away, but he did
Right.
sell his position in Litecoin. But in doing so, on the other side of the coin, we got the individuals that say, "Charlie Lee, you no longer believe in your coin?"
Exactly. And we had seen a little flux at that point, just like we did in Bitcoin.
That's right.
Where we
no
had seen
skin in the game now. So what are we to think?
up or down. Is it going to go up or down? Do we believe in this? Do we not believe in this? I mean, we only have, these are one of the 4 major players.
Absolutely. I mean, but one of the main things that I have seen personally is that Charlie Lee has been just as active in his social media accounts and his Twitters and in his reactions to the audience. And he's definitely said and mentioned that he's going to stick by his creation and see it through. I mean, he very much believes that he wants the product to succeed, and it definitely shows.
Which to me says a lot about the integrity of the company with the man behind it. When you have a captain sink with the ship kind of mentality, that to me is integrity. That's something that, we'll see where it goes.
Absolutely.
But I just like that idea. I like the idea, I'm willing to separate myself from this and still put my all into it.
And I like it. I like his position. I like that he still continues to show up and speak for his product, unlike some of the developers of Bitcoin, which have all jumped
Disappeared.
ship. And now all the developers have moved on to Segwit X2, things like that, different branches of this coin, and gone off in different directions. So there's definitely a lot to say about his composure and how he has positioned himself with his company. It doesn't look like he's backing down anytime soon.
Which is exciting. So now let's talk about some altcoins here. There is, like you said, there is so many. There's
Hundreds.
so many.
Hundreds.
It's easy. If you log into Coinbase, you get 4. Pick one. Click the button, and go. Now, when you get onto some of these other, GDAX or Binance or some of these other, exchange sites, it can be overwhelming. This is not, created by Henry Ford, where it's just like get your Model T in any color as long as it's black.
I love it.
Right? It's like no. We have so many options that it's actually it's overwhelming to think and look at. And when we see a coin that's like 3 cents, like Tron, okay, and then doubles, and then quadruples, and then goes to 30 cents. And then,
in 2 days,
and then right back down again, and now we're floating at this moment around 11 cents.
Well, there's a big distinction in the cryptocurrency group. You have each cryptocurrency, really, if you think about it, like this little building block. And this little building block, we want to solve a problem.
Right.
And however valuable that solution is and how people see that is really going to determine the intrinsic value of that utility coin or quote-unquote
Absolutely.
currency, or however it's tied into the product. So we have really a big split in the community, and that's actually one of the main reasons why we have some different laws here in the U.S. than we do in some other countries, which we'll talk about in just a second.
Sure.
But we have these building blocks that solve a problem that actually have a product.
Right.
It's working, it's running, it's been tested, there's people actively using it.
It's a solid table.
It's a solid table.
It's gonna work. You can eat a meal off of that, and it's not gonna fall on the floor. You can lean on it.
And then
you can rely on it. But that's what it's all about. It's I can rely on this table. I can rely that these 4 sturdy legs are not gonna, when I put my weight on it. But that metaphor, that analogy is really huge, because we want a coin that we can rely on. We want a coin,
And that's why in Coinbase, we have the Fantastic Four: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. they have proven themselves.
Right.
And that's why they're also used as what they call pairs in all of these exchanges. So if you want to trade for all these other, however many hundreds of coins there are, really you're going to be trading your Bitcoin, your Litecoin, and your Ethereum for these.
Right.
They have proven the test of time so far. They are stable. They stand on 4 legs.
Right.
And the public has approved.
They're not going to just disappear overnight. You're not going to wake up and you know, the owner can pull their money completely out of it, and it's still, right now, it's floating, you know what, let me see, at the beginning of December, I think Litecoin was at about $100.
$100.
And now we're at $250.
Absolutely.
You know, I think it floated up to around 320.
375.
375, perfect. He knows those numbers, which is good. You know, but still, it's just like, that says a lot again, you know, when the owner of the company pulls out and you're still rock solid numbers. So, okay, Tron,
let's talk about the Tron group. So what Tron would be technically labeled as is what we call vaporware. Okay,
that sounds frightening. To me, vapor is this. Yeah,
it's there for 1 second, and you can kind of see it floating, and it's making these shapes, but there is nothing solid. There's nothing
like a
to grab
dream.
onto.
I had this great dream, man.
And it's very, very elusive at this point in time. So let's talk about Tron. You said 3 cents. It was about 3 cents, maybe just a week ago.
Yeah.
Maybe a week and a half ago. And the main reason for that is Tron is a huge project that is coming out. It's all centered around the entertainment platform, gaming, and things the like.
Which there's a lot of interest in that market in general.
Absolutely. Hundreds of millions of gamers around the world.
To where it's even becoming like a televised national sport, which is kind of awesome. I mean, come on. It's
some of those video gamers make more money than professional sports. Absolutely. It's getting to that point.
It's the digital era. It is the digital era.
That's right. You're going to throw down with your game pads in this day and age. So talking about this vaporware, and Tron specifically, Tron, Cardano, let's see what else we have here.
Verge
is another one. Their platform isn't quite out yet, but all of these coins are coming out with the promise of. And that's really why we say, do your research, know your product, believe in what you buy in what you believe.
Right.
And these specific companies, some of them have up to 8 to 10 year roadmaps for development. 8 to 10 years. Hi,
that's awesome.
I'm raising money for an 8 to 10 year project. Guess what? I haven't started yet. Buy me. And that's really what some of these are coming out saying.
I'm gonna be solid.
So
I'm gonna be solid. You just gotta trust me. And you're like,
what we're doing with this information is, and when we're investing in these companies, is we're looking at the teams, we're looking at the communities, the speculation, which is actually going to create the price here. Does the team have the experience needed to pull off what they're saying to do over the
under the
next 10
time
years?
frame too? Because that is a huge thing where we see, you know, we promised this, but then we didn't meet our deadline.
That's
we didn't, you know.
That's right. And let's talk about that specifically for Verge, XVG. I mean, they have a Wraith protocol coming out that's going to be able to allow a user to send a transaction private or non-private. So it's really going to have the best of both worlds.
Pretty cool.
Their big promise was, hey guys, don't worry, end of 2017, we got you.
Right.
We're going to have
So
Wraith
guess
out.
what year we're in? We're in 2018. Where's Verge at?
Do we have Wraith? No, we don't. To Verge's benefit, they did make a post just earlier that's out for one operating system, and it's coming out for Windows. It's taking them a little longer. So I can imagine they've all been working overtime.
And we're not saying that it's a bad company to get behind.
That's right.
But we're just talking about the facts.
But what did it do to the price? Okay,
Right.
Verge jumped up from 6 cents to 26 cents. And is now
and when
back
they
down
didn't
to
deliver, right?
That's right.
They
not being able to deliver did hurt them a lot.
Yeah, they went down to what, 16, 15 cents now?
Actually, just because we're in a Red Sea dip right now, I think I saw it at its lowest, right around 12 cents. But as far as I'm concerned, personally, it's on sale right now, guys. Hop on while you can.
It's the Blue Light Special. It's the Verge Blue Light Special. If it's something that you believe is going to have foundation down the road to jump into.
But I mean, it's definitely something to think about when we're looking at coins like Cardano and Tron. Is delivery. Is your guys' team going to be able to deliver? Does your team have the marketing ability to be able to go out and, I got to hand it to Tron. Justin Sun coming over from Alibaba, this multi-trillion-dollar company. Yeah. He is another one that's also very active on the social media sites. I mean, he does a really fantastic job, and they say the man doesn't sleep. And I'm on quite a bit, and I haven't seen him sleep yet either, so it could be true. But the fact of the work that he's doing and the ability to pull in the partners that he has, I mean, and some of these partners are promising, 10 to anywhere from 100 million users at a time.
Those are big numbers.
And that's really why we're
huge.
seeing these main spikes going. I mean, it happened maybe hours just after these tweets go out. I mean, we're jumping 10 to 20 billion dollars in a coin in 48 hours.
Those are banana numbers.
That's
bananas.
That's the possibility of social media
affecting this market.
Absolutely.
All right, so now let's talk about some other coins that I think are very interesting companies. Like specifically, Substratum.
Substrat, that's probably my number one favorite right now.
Interesting company.
So, especially with the recent news events that we've had about net neutrality being kiboshed.
And we'll talk about, that was an astrological lining up too, by the way, of Venus and Mercury. That Thursday that happened, Venus and Mercury lined up in Sagittarius. Conjunct each other.
Why didn't you call me?
Conjunct each other. All right. Any astrologer that looked at that, we knew our communication to money, something was going to happen. And the fact that we let five people sit in a room and decide the fate of our internet. No, that's why this whole blockchain thing exists. That's why all of this is being created right now, so that we do not give our power away to 5 people. All right, moving back.
And Substratum really promises to deliver, and is in its beta stage right now. They're just now taking their applications for beta. Mm-hmm. And what Substratum is their promise to deliver a decentralized internet.
I like the sound of that.
It
sounds like something. It's like a vague memory of the past.
And that's really what the whole blockchain technology is built around, decentralization. We're taking the need for these big middleman companies out of the picture. So net neutrality gives the internet service providers the power to speed up and slow down the internet and sites at will.
That's awesome.
Now, I can't think of anybody that thinks that's a really good idea.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Because I don't stream a ton of stuff at my house. I don't stream the internet onto the TV, like, YouTube. Yeah, brilliant. Anyways.
So just imagine that net neutrality gives them the ability to turn off and turn on the internet and your access to it at will. That's huge.
Awful.
This is not a dictatorship, okay?
Right.
What decentralization is doing is it's putting the power back into people's hands. So people like you and me are able, and I'm going to be one of them actually, but the ability to host portions of the internet. That's right. You're going to be able to use your PC, the hardware on it, to actually host a piece of the internet. So now we're connecting peer-to-peer, and we're going to be subsiding the need for these big individuals, these internet service providers, your Comcast and your AT&Ts and things like that. And we're going to be able to connect to each other, and it puts the power in our own hands. Not only that, is by doing so, if you run a node, it definitely gives you access. It gives you access to any internet site, which is going to vastly increase the adoption rate of this product. It's not only just you can connect to sites on the Substratum network. It's going to give you the ability to connect to sites over the entire network.
Wow. And
that's really what's needed for this decentralization to work is the ability to come together and empower each other by doing things like this and hosting these nodes. And you're rewarded for it. Not only rewarded by the use of free and fast information, but you're also rewarded for hosting some of that internet. And that's what they use. Their substratum, their substrate and their atoms to be able to pay you passively now for more income. I mean, it sounds fantastic.
Pretty awesome.
And the just in the growth of Substratum in the past, I would say 3.5 weeks, we're looking at almost 1,000%, ladies and gentlemen, 1,000%. Their beta is here. They're taking applications. I'm definitely going to be one of those in the running for that to be able to increase this people-to-people power.
4 strong legs.
Absolutely, they have shown so much problem. And not only that, their development for their beta or for their alpha testing had finished early, so their beta moved up. So they're actually ahead of their curve, which is one of the many reasons why I really, really like this project, and I believe it has a very, very stable future here in this economy.
Are there a couple other coins you want to talk about stability here?
Well, let's talk about Steam. I like Steam. So
Tell me about Steam.
Steam, just like Ethereum, is another coin that has an actual platform.
Okay.
So, and it's really geared towards social media. So are things like...
Never heard of it.
Just in general, like Reddit and the Steam blogging engine, all of these different companies who are hosting these sites are able to actually again, passively pay their users for their services.
Okay.
So we get these bloggers that are writing up reports, and for posting content and the attention that they draw, they're getting compensated for it now.
I like that.
That's right. All these
like
little
that idea.
tiny mini economies are
It's like when
being
you go to the
created.
gym, and the gym is like you're on the power grid, and your bicycle is actually cycling and supplying the power for your house. It's like the gerbil on the wheel.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not only working out, but you're actually getting something out of it in return. That sounds pretty awesome.
And another example is Uber and Lyft. So Uber pretty much destroyed the taxi economy. I mean, they're still available, but nowhere near what they were. But that's what it's doing. It's basically crowdsourcing all of these different tiny microeconomies. So the people that blog on the Steam engine are getting paid for it, and then the people that are leaving reviews and interacting with it are also getting compensated.
But all right, I don't want to jump too much on this, but I mean, Uber, you know, you get paid if you drive for your business, you get like 59 cents a mile. You know what I mean? And Uber itself only pays its drivers like 64 cents per mile or something like that. So I personally, I'm going to state this on the record, I'm not a huge fan of the company Uber, because they, you know, what looks good on one end, on one side of the coin, on the other side of the coin, you're really kind of getting hosed. Do you feel that, you know, this is anything like that at all, or is it just more benefits of it?
Well, you know what? Is it great? Is it perfect? It's not perfect. But you know
Fair
what?
enough.
It's much better than what we had before.
I like that.
Okay, and I think one of the things that we're going to see as the adoption and this technology evolves is more trust in the technology itself and less concentration on these big third parties kind of taking over. So I think the technology is going to start paying itself. It's going to be becoming more valuable, and there's going to be less and less intermediaries that are going to be swallowing up all that money, and then more and more is going to go peer-to-peer and person-to-person.
Oh, I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. So, I mean, those are just some of the companies, some of the things here. And again, do your own research, please.
Absolutely.
Please
Every time.
Feel confident. You're going to hear advice from us. There's tons of people out there spreading information on buy this, do this. Really bring it in, believe in what you buy what you believe. You know, that's our motto here. It's like, it's bring it in, internalize it, and make sure that you feel good about the decision at the end of the day. Whether, you know, it's feast or famine, whether you make it or break it, at the end of the day, you have to be happy with the decisions you made.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Now, we're running out of time here, but I briefly want to talk to you about one of these huge dates that's going to happen in 2018. One of the biggest dates, which, while he and I have been talking for a long time about astrology and cryptocurrency. Come on, say cryptocosm. Well, we've been talking about cryptocosm for a very long time here. One of the major players is we have one of our planets, Uranus, which takes 84 years to go around the sun. It's been in Aries for about 7 to 8 years now. It takes about 7 to 8 years for it to move through sign to sign. Okay, Uranus and Aries is wonderful. Uranus is like the lightning storm. It is the earthquake. It is the unexpected. You know, it's paradoxical to say expect the unexpected with Uranus, but that's kind of what it is. You know, like a lightning storm or a storm is going to happen. Is it going to lightning or not? I don't know, but you can kind of, you know, it's more likely going to have a thunderstorm and electricity, a lightning storm.
I think that's what we're listening for.
Right. When it's raining, you know, you're more likely. So basically, bring an umbrella, because Uranus moves into Taurus. Okay, the sign of the bull, the ruler of money, the bull run. Okay, Uranus moves into Taurus come May 15th this year. Now that is, again, is a 7 to 8 year cycle. So it's going to be hanging out there for a long time, and it's going to majorly, throwing out this educated guess, majorly disrupt our current structures that be. It's going to really shake things up. Okay, a single bar can be a prison if you hold on to it long enough. And we've been holding on to the almighty dollar for a very, very long time, okay? This paper prison is something that we need to
Evolve.
We need to set it down, okay? The dawn of digital currency, as an astrologer, I am a huge fan. I really believe that's where we're going in this, which is why so many of our talks led to the creation of this show.
Absolutely.
So we'll talk more about the Uranus transition into Taurus next week when we have a little bit more time. But until then, make those moves, lay your hand down, whether it's putting in, whether it's pulling out, whatever it is. Do not let fear push you out of this game.
That's right. You guys, and to reiterate again, we're in the Red Sea right now. So just think of it as everything is on sale.
Blue light special.
We love it. We love it.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit that little button down at the bottom to get the notifications so you guys don't miss a beat.
We'll see you next time.
Cryptocosm.